Okay, welcome back to Project Eden's Garden. Last episode, we completed the Deadly Life investigation section of the mystery. To recap, our ex-husband, Wolfgang Akare, was murdered down in the boiler room. Oh, he was found in the boiler room. We don't know if he was technically murdered there or not. We've got some suspicious ass people, including Diana, Grace, pretty much everyone, Toshiko and Ingrid, and pretty much everyone at the fucking game tournament. We still don't know anything about the fucking sun gun that was supposedly used. We don't know if it's used or not, but apparently the fucking blast doors or whatever were open. So that means the gun may have been about to be used, I assume. I don't know anything about sun guns, but no doubt we'll find out. Very late stage in the fucking investigation. I'm going to turn the logic and action down, mainly because I really can't be fucking thinking, to be honest. And I just want to hear about the story. I want to see... I really don't want to be fucking around on this video, fucking shooting bullets at random shit like I did last time. So we're going to turn it all the way down. No doubt this one's going to be a lot more complicated than the first one. So I don't know if we'll complete the whole class trial in this one video or it'll be split up with an intermission. But one way to make sure we can do it in one video is to stop fucking yapping and get right into it. So we're going to begin. In session.
Let's get this started, shall we?
Turn on auto.
Welcome back to the trial grounds, everyone. Unlike previously, today will be no circus. No mockery woven with stitches and needles. A
funny
true,
reference to the
fair,
last
and
chapter,
proper
man.
trial will commence. A battle of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so, you must vote for who you believe is the blackened. If the blackened receives the majority of...
Yeah.
However...
We'll make
if
the
you
right
vote,
choice and the
then
dreadfully wrong one,
expect
basically
no
that.
sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end. After discussing, we pray for your survival and success.
Okay, let's get started.
Can someone please break this silence?
I don't want to talk about this.
Wolfgang deserves justice, but putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed.
Oh, we've got a debater and a mathlete.
Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Oh, don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better
Toshiko.
place now, you hear?
We met him 4 days ago.
Whichever one of you sick bastards did this, whatever it takes, no matter if I have to kick the brains out of every single person here, I'll find you.
Do you really gotta resort to violence?
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it.
When we found you in the fucking lodge room, you were literally bawling your eyes out.
How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose?
And they're not on the loose, they're in this circle right now.
That bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line. Is that what you call peace? Being at the mercy of some dickhead silent observer?
Well, nobody knows for sure if the killer is even a silent observer. If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means.
Yeah, like being fucking saying shit like you were, Grace.
For instance, pretending
Yes!
to be outspoken about the case.
Huh?
What the? Are you accusing me of something?
Sounds like it.
I mean, what you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
I'm actually liking Eloise as a character more and more because she is shy, obviously, but she knows when to speak up.
What did Grace do?
She was being a massive fucking dickhead.
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside, intentionally or not. It really hindered our investigation.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented.
I want to know why she was protecting that room.
For someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer.
She has an alibi, though.
Oh, did I accidentally skip that? No, wrong button. I'm sorry. Sorry. I just think we should be cautious of her.
Huh?
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone. Because
We don't know
went to the
this.
game tournament.
I mean, we know she was at the game tournament, that's what I mean, but we don't know she can't be the killer.
Grace attended the tournament?
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Well, yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish, which was like half an hour before the murder. Nobody left the tournament after it started either. Nobody I know of, anyway.
There weren't many of us there. Had someone disappeared, it would have been obvious.
Okay, so nobody left during the duration of the tournament.
Grace is off the hook? Wow. That plot
She's
thread
not
resolved
off the hook.
itself
Nobody's
quicker
off
than
the
I
hook
was
yet.
antici-
We've been 5
So
minutes into
Jean,
this.
Grace, and Kai attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament.
And me.
And Mark.
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
Now here's the thing, Grace and Ava also went into the same storage closet, if I remember, because it was me and Kai, Jean and Cassidy, Jet and Mark, and then Ava and Grace went into that closet together, and inside that closet was an important piece of evidence that's fucking escaping my mind, but it was definitely something. What was it? It's in our fucking True False section.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
Lying about Grace?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
If the 8 of you were really together when Wolfgang was discovered, then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation? You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
Okay, it is important to discuss this because obviously not everyone was privy to the facts that we were. What happened here, Damon and me, we just found him like this. Yeah, because we ran off after hearing the footsteps.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
All of this confusion would be fucking cleared up if we just actually stated in fucking chronological order what happened during the game tournament. We're at the game tournament, the fucking blackout happened. Then we fucking daisy chained ourselves all the way down to fucking stairs, checked the storage rooms in groups of 2. And then when we heard those fucking voices, the fucking footsteps, me and Kai fucking left the room and went into the boiler room where we found fucking Wolfgang.
That's because us partygoers left the dining hall together.
Yep.
When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight
The
downstairs.
tournament folk, there was folk at the fucking hillbilly fucking...
I
I'm not gonna
know.
fucking... Oh, that's a bit rude.
I saw him.
There was a blackout?
Yes, because we asked you about it and you're like, what, blackout?
You don't remember?
Actually, I don't recall a power outage either.
How could that be? Did an alternate timeline converge with ours?
No. Why is it that some people can recall a blackout but not theirs, but not others? Thinking about the testimonies I've collected, I could probably make an educated guess. It only affected one building.
I got it.
The building we were in.
The reason not everyone experienced the blackout
Our character is
because
so
only the
fucking
building
hot. I just have to
containing
mention
our dorms was
that.
affected. If I had to guess, the courtyard and tree area are connected to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned?
Because we were the ones who brought it back. It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves. And just our luck, boom! We found a spare generator in one of the storage closets.
I love that. That's cool.
Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
And that is an unfortunate side effect of what just happened.
She's right. The 8 of us split into 4 pairs and inspected a storage room each.
Because of the toaster trinket map, we know which ones too. Eva and Grace check storage closet A.
That's right.
Jet and I check storage closet
Oh,
B.
Jet, yep.
Damon and Kai check storage closet C, and Jean and Mark check storage closet D.
Okay, I mixed up Jean and Jet, but it's basically correct.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me too. Yeah, we were together.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry.
Don't be. You
for
didn't
what I said
know.
earlier.
Sorry? You're sorry for accusing me of murder.
She didn't accuse you of being a murderer. She just fucking wanted to know what the fuck was going on with you being weird.
Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want
Whoa.
my mercy, then get on your knees and beg for
Whoa!
Whoa! Uncool, dude.
Yeah, that's a bit fucking much.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, You must know something about his last known whereabouts.
What makes you think she'd be
They were sleeping
privy-
together.
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
Yeah, the cum stains on the sheet. I mean, the fucking clothes and shit.
Grace and Lawyer Man? Talk about an unexpected pairing.
When I investigated Wolfgang's room, I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside. Also, there was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
Ugh.
He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilt the beans with you, right?
Little history, dude.
Why would Ulysses know anything?
Common courtesy. If you're gonna have a one-night stand, you gotta let your roomie know in advance.
They swapped. Okay, but also, I didn't know they were going to make the sex joke, but they did.
Common courtesy also says you should watch your mouth around children.
Yeah, I forget that fucking Toshiko's in this too.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm getting this right, Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
Well, they were until they switched rooms.
Well, we only shared a dorm for one night.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Let me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall. Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jet partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
For reasons.
I already forgot what the reasons were, but they weren't getting along for some reason.
Totally not suspicious.
It was a win-win situation.
Oh, that's right, this bitch.
I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
You two were originally bunking together?
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe.
So both groups were fucking stupid, so instead of actually choosing who you wanted to be with, we just get fucking luck arbitrarily decided.
I wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me. So when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
Thus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
We did
Since the
too, from
room
the
swap
sidelines.
happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half. Ugh, gross.
Why is it
In
gross?
that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night. Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point?
Yeah, he said he was sick.
Like, maybe he said something that stuck out
said
to
he was
you.
sick.
Oh, maybe he had trouble getting to sleep.
So you gave him a helping hand to help him feel sleepy.
No. Nothing weird happened last night.
But it was in the morning.
Nothing happened last night, but
this morning.
the morning of the murder, this morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Sick?
Yeah, morning after
With a
sickness.
stomachache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed.
Which was a fucking massive
I was gonna
lie.
cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament. So, I left his room right after the morning announcement. And
Okay.
yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending. Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
In very many various ways,
Hold
I
on
reckon.
a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
What did Grace tell you?
Simply put, she felt like competing. Grace knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
She withheld information.
That's not the same as lying.
Aye, that she did. Of course, since I now know Wolfgang's condition at the time, I can't say I blame her.
And to be fair, her well, not her lying, but her withholding information at the time of the tournament isn't relevant. But her not disclosing that immediately when was found dead is also a bit fucking strange.
If someone you cared for was in a vulnerable position,
A
would you
vulnerable
go around
position.
and admit that in a killing game?
I suppose. Oh, that not in the vulnerable position that I was expecting.
No.
But yeah.
You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
When you put it that way, man, sounds rough.
Sounds rough.
I think it's obtuse.
Huh?
Say we assume the best of Grace. She withheld information not to trick anyone, but to protect someone she cares about. What then should we make up the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
Glaring
What the hell
contradiction.
do you mean contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
Well, he was fucking obviously
Good
lying.
point. If Wolfgang really were bedridden,
He was lying.
he would have stayed in his room.
Now that you mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend like
actually,
4 flights of stairs?
the fucking basement is actually that fucking low.
It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick.
It's not my fault it doesn't make sense. It's just what Wolfgang told me.
Yeah, he's a fucking lying cunt.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
I don't believe that, but I believe she's being fairly transparent. Is there more to the story than Grace is telling us? Too many people are letting their emotions cloud their judgment. I need to solve this mystery and set things straight. Is this a non-stop debate? Yep. I've put the difficulty on kind, so how many true bullets are we going to get? Okay, sorry, cool. It was probably going to be like 10.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
I've got nothing else to explain.
It's not going to be the fucking
The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
I'll listen to it all
Okay,
first.
hear me out. Secret hallways.
That's
We
bullshit.
would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
There's a major discrepancy in Grace's testimony, but is she necessarily at fault for that? I didn't even catch what I'm supposed to be doing. And I also just noticed that my fucking influence gauge has not been refueled since the last fucking
Got nothing else to explain.
trial, which is kind of
The
bullshit.
last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm
Alright, let's
room.
review these fucking...
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
The victim was Wolfgang Ackroyd, the ultimate lawyer. He was discovered in the boiler room on the underground floor. He's kneeling in the water and his upper body is... Okay, yep, that's probably not relevant. Left the dorm before 8 a.m. to fetch Ingrid with some medication, so I reckon it's got to be this. Around 10 a.m. And what was the other one, just in case? Game tournament timeline. Okay, yeah, no, that has nothing to fucking do with it, I reckon.
We would have found those by now.
Okay, that's the pause.
Maybe
Cool.
Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
Probably didn't happen.
Or Wolfgang never told
That? Nope.
Maybe Grace has some kind of...
How? If anything, telling you the truth is putting my ass on the line.
That is true. Fair, she wouldn't admit from lying about this.
Why
Okay,
don't
I'm a
you
little
tell
bit
everyone
lost.
the truth, Grace?
I've got nothing else to explain. The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
That's not what happened because...
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
that, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about
Wait.
what he said.
Okay, so it was actually what she said. What fuckface said. The fucking cosmetology chick. The cosmetology chick. Because
Why don't you tell everyone
he wasn't
the
carried. He
truth,
walked out on his own fucking wheel. He walked out on his own wheel. Gotcha.
Nothing else. The last I saw
Okay,
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried.
Yep. Okay.
No, that's wrong.
I'm getting a hang of the logic a little bit better. It's not as clear as the Danganronpa games, but I don't expect it
It's
to
true
be.
Grace's testimony is inconsistent with where we found Wolfgang's body. But that's not Grace's fault. The only person we should be blaming is Wolfgang
Yeah,
himself.
fucking prick.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
I love that this dude is gay. Like, I know I've been giving him the gay voice, and that's not to like mock him or anything like that. I mock him because he's an influencer, not because he's gay. Because I'm gay, so I like this character actually. Like, I'm enjoying Kai. Like, I don't enjoy his talent, but I'm enjoying his character.
Because he lied about being sick.
Well, that was fucking obvious from a fucking mile away.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
That's after I left.
Is it? We should have got this information from her beforehand. Because now she could just be like lying about it. Because now she knows that we just disclosed this information to her.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
I remember now. Ingrid. She developed a headache, so I went to the pharmacy to find some medication. The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway...
Also, I'm sorry, Ingrid, but you made a little girl go to a pharmacy by herself before the morning announcement to get you fucking medication during a killing school game.
I found myself face to face
with Wolfgang?
Hold the phone! Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang?
She has fucking eyes, doesn't she?
We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament. Of course.
Fucking lying prick.
He never made it.
I don't want to be that guy, but can anyone confirm
Yeah,
this?
Ingrid can.
Mm-hmm. I heard them chatting a while in my room. Though I was bedridden like a sitting goose, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Strange. He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Sounds like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
Meet someone in the fucking boiler room. Yeah.
Most likely.
We have evidence of this.
I'm lost. What business would a guy like him have down there?
We're gonna have to present a note, aren't we? Yep. Where is it? That one. Yep.
This is it. During the investigation, I found this note tucked away inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. A lot of it is water damaged. The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink, but some parts are still legible.
Secret, 8:15 a.m. Boiler room. Close the door.
This mentions the boiler room.
And the
Exactly.
time.
The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket, it can't be a coincidence. This note must be the reason Wolfgang went there.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious. I'm willing to bet Wolfie's reason had something to do with it.
Agreeing to meet a stranger in some spooky dark place? Wolfgang had nerves of steel.
Ulysses, Grace, do you remember Wolfgang getting delivered a weird note?
No. The only time I recall him receiving anything was when Tozu distributed those envelopes.
I don't know anything about a note.
Really? Wolfgang shared nothing with you guys?
Why would he?
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Exactly.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick
was to remove her from the picture. Yeah.
That was
Once
fucking
she's
obvious
out
from
in
the
room,
moon.
Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs. That's also why he encouraged her to attend the tournament.
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other?
Yeah, he was a
Talk
massive
about
prick.
double standards.
He's a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing, or whatever the fuck that fucking note we have says.
Are we sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace?
No.
Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
Not to interrupt, but...
Yes, Ulysses,
on
what
the
is it?
subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
Yeah, he said not to fucking... Oh no, he wanted to share it, yep. Seek out the person who had
Regardless of the
it.
blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came forward about it, they could have demanded Wolfgang show it to them, hence the mention of a secret.
That also
However,
works.
if Wolfgang did confront his person, I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note. Not least act coy about information they both know.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
That's us!
Oh, I knew that.
That's us!
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Is Ava trying to imply it's us to fucking throw shade
Is there
away
any
from
way to
her?
figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
Oh, I've got just the idea.
Wait, did I read? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just going to fucking quickly double check that I read that right. If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was it? Obviously, it would be the person with Wolfgang's blackmail, which was us. But we also shared that information with Ava and Kai. Oh, I've got just the idea.
Yo, person who Wolfgang had blackmail on. If he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't forget the person with Wolfgang's blackmail.
That's us. The other one wasn't us, this one's us.
Oh, right. Hey! Person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail! If you're innocent, say something already!
We're innocent, I think. If I'm innocent, I should say something. Would telling everyone I had Wolfgang's blackmail really guarantee my innocence in their eyes? It doesn't matter. All the truth needs to be put on the table for us to fucking reach a conclusion. I don't know. Although everyone may follow my direction during the trial, since they can't ignore the evidence on my side. When it comes to me, of all people, owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but do I really want to subject myself to all that? Does the trajectory of this trial really depend on whether... Yes, it does!
I was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot.
Oh, does Wolfgang have your blackmail?
But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
But Wolfgang had his blackmail, eh?
Are you confessing? Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
Nah, not his.
Seriously? Way to be anticlimactic.
The other way around.
It's thanks to him that I have my own.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person.
Wonder who he had.
He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it. If you need the proof.
Wolfgang's envelope had the...
I held on to the letter for safekeeping. This should have all been said sooner. I realized that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude.
Your rectum what?
My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
Truth! Thanks for letting us know, bud.
This is going to try to goad us into fucking admitting that we have fucking Wolfgangs, and then everyone's going to act all fucking dog shit about it too.
Indeed.
Yeah, they all fucking love fucking Jean for speaking up, but as soon as we do...
To acknowledge one's own misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
Right. It's very noble.
Yeah, just keep fucking sucking his dick. If I revealed my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? No, they wouldn't. They all fucking hate you. Would they be just as forgiving?
I take it our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward?
If nothing happens, let's just have everyone recite whose blackmail they got one by one.
Huh? You sure that's a good idea?
True, and I suppose that actually is a good idea, to be honest, because if the person who is lying would double up with someone else, so that reduces it down to 2 people, which is us. We should just fucking speak up, but still.
No one's reciting shit!
It was only a suggestion.
I think it's a good one. I like that.
Even if we knew who had Wolfgang's blackmail, that doesn't necessarily mean they're his killer.
That's a bit suspicious.
It's annoying they won't speak up, sure.
Oh, fuck.
But unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it. This person might just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between 2 people. Especially now that he's gone.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, we're just going to take on the ultimate lawyer status then?
If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
Yeah. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle without the box art to help you.
The case is?
Obviously, the case. The more pieces you connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes. The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it.
Ava didn't rat us out.
Do you see what I'm saying? Once we know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
Wait, I'm not surprised Ava didn't rat us out because we're on the same side here. Or if at least not on the same side, at least we're not fucking fighting against each other. Kai, on the other hand, has no reason to keep quiet about this.
You certainly talk a lot stranger than you used to. But I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
Stabbed to death?
When I was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water.
Did he have any stab wounds?
And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
That's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
The knife was bloody, so...
Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway. While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
What happened the other way, though? Couldn't he have been in the boiler room and then fucking attacked there?
That would line up with how we found him.
The killer stabbed Wolfgang in the hallway and followed him into the boiler room? No, that's not what happened. I need to show everyone where they're wrong, okay? Where they've gone wrong. What have we got? Wolfgang's hands. I'll just review the blood spots and the hands again.
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence.
That water scattered outside the hallway, so that fucking literally reveals nothing. Burn marks all over Wolfgang's hands. And what was the Tozy tablet again? Why isn't the Tozy tablet number 1? Kneeling. There's nothing about any, like, stab wounds or anything in that.
In the water right next to him.
We'll just listen to the whole thing again.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor.
Yes.
And along the underground hallway.
That's correct.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Yeah.
Surely confrontation would leave blood on his hands.
The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind, and the rest is history.
With that knife-wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, you know, ended it.
It all makes sense.
Whatever story they're trying to spin here, it's definitely not the truth. I conclude as much from the crime scene. So, the logic here isn't very...
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang
as apparent
died?
as the other games, I don't believe, because I would say that Wolfgang's hands would be a relevant clue because there's no blood on them regarding the confrontation. But also, the Tozy tablet doesn't mention anything about blood stains. Bloodstains.
And along the underground hallway.
A confrontation happened in those hallways.
Oh shit, hold on. Nope.
I'm having a hard time understanding.
Yeah, fucked up.
Is this
Fucked up.
really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor. And along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
It was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
I don't reckon that's true.
The rest is history.
With that knife-wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the
killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, you know, ended it.
I reckon it has something to do with the second fucking thing they said.
Is this really how you...
It has something to do with that. Oh yeah, stabbing him from behind. Because the tablet doesn't mention anything about any knife wounds. And I'm also surprised that we didn't mention anything when we investigated the body. Oh fuck, didn't mean to do that.
It was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that's wrong!
The fucking file didn't mention anything about any fucking stab wounds. But we also didn't really mention it when we fucking investigated the body.
Jed, you talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor, but did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
I figured.
Everything about Wolfgang I like is pretty deep.
Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds. In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss. Seriously. We went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Hey, man! It's not like I didn't try! It's just... this stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
You didn't want to look at him either!
Not everyone has the stomach for investigating. That's fine. That's why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you should have to be
Since some
somewhat
of us
reliable.
here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries. There were 2 marks on the back of his neck. A bruise and
That
a
is
tiny
true.
red dot.
What about the tiny red
His
dot in the
hands
bruise?
were burnt too, so 3 injuries in total. Besides that, I caught nothing else.
Burns, you say?
Junior high, my dear Wilson. The killer used a flamethrower.
Don't ever do that fucking voice again.
These didn't look like normal burns. Not the sort you'd get from a stove fire, or a hot iron, or a...
Why are we mentioning a flamethrower?
Contradicting my theory outright? Jeez. So this is the thanks I get for vocalizing my thoughts?
Sorry, lass.
Yes, if I may add on to what John said, the burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases of corona paralysis.
Corona paralysis? Yeah, that.
Ooh, now this I know.
You do?
Chronoparalysis. It's something which happens to lightning strike victims.
How
Getting
do you know
struck by
this?
lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking. Some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know its official name. That's a nice head you've got on your shoulders.
Lots of people tend to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from. My grandpappy once tried working out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure luck's the only reason he lived to see the next.
Sorry to hear that and all, but
Yeah, exactly.
What does lightning have to do with anything?
He was electrocuted.
Well, if I had to guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe it.
I don't reckon that's how you would actually describe it, but... Well, that's not the word Ulysses would have chosen unless he was prompted by that, but yeah, sure.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
Which I suppose would be consistent with electrical.
We're trapped inside a building, though.
Oh, and he's obviously electrocuted. He was electrocuted.
Could he not have been struck before the killing game? Fate is stronger than will, you know. Perhaps the deity decreed the glow of his altruism from their heavenly abode and felt him a threat.
Nay, those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that. If he had these scars before, we would have noticed them anyway.
But if those marks were recently inflicted...
Oh, he was electrocuted.
Me and Wolfgang somehow went outside?
Not necessarily. This is only something I thought of just now, but the reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns
was similar to a lightning strike.
Equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
Say, perhaps electrical shock.
You saying there's something out here channeling the power of lightning?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Equivalent in damage to a lightning strike. The idea sounded ridiculous, but when I think back into the boiler room and what was inside it, right, if I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to hold some weight. I'm obviously the fucking giant fucking generator.
This is it.
The giant electrical generator.
Ulysses, since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
We're all there.
Yes, I do.
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene,
oh, true. I suppose some of
they
them
probably aren't as
retarded.
familiar with the room as we are. So, you should read out your description of it.
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief.
Lovely
What you
description.
just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler. Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
Didn't Ulysses say it was destroyed?
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed. You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the
Ava and I
underground
could just
floor.
fucking... Ava, back me up here so we don't have to explain all this shit. Yep, dying hall pit. I've seen this cutscene at least 5 times now. 5 fucking times.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside. I hadn't been alone either.
No, sorry, the upper
Ava was
fucking boiler
also
room that we all know about.
I woke up first.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what's important, Ava.
Anyway, Ava, you agree the generator was in full working condition when we woke up, right?
Right.
So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's
Maybe
hard
it
to
was
say
the
for
fucking
sure.
massive one we found next to
My
it.
best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time.
Oh my god, is this a rebuttal showdown? The one with the swords and shit.
2 things. First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief.
Oh, good, I can save. I'm saving. Because I'm already fucking... I'm already near fucking certain death, so we're gonna save.
Second, and more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
What are you talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
So was the taser and so was a knife.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it?
Yeah.
Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence?
She has a point.
Spying out a standard shift? If so.
That?
Damn it, she's trying to make me look like an idiot. That's not the fucking thing here. Who cares if you look like an idiot? We need to just fucking discuss the truth. If I let this continues, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. You thought you only... Sorry. You thought you were the only one with an interjection animation? Think again. Okay, that's pretty self-aware. Sometimes the student will dislike the argument so much that they will initiate a one-on-one debate with you. We call this rebuttal showdown. During a rebuttal showdown, your opponent will fling a flurry of remarks at you, and it's your job to counter them. I already know this, but I'm just going to, because I played all the other games on the console, which is a lot different to the keyboard. I just fucking... more info. Okay, cool. Yep, that's fine. Excellent. Cool. Alright. What do we got? Footsteps, DJ pad, Tozu tablet.
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days, in which the generator might have been destroyed.
Okay, we advanced. Good.
What about the blackout? It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout if it was already broken prior to the tournament.
That's true.
What about the blackout? The building may very well
It's
have
gonna be
lost
this.
its power at any point before or
Nope,
after.
it's this. It's this.
I'll cut through those words.
Okay, that was a lot better than the fucking non-stop debates. Maybe because I got it correct the first time, but still.
When the blackout happened, it froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament.
Yeah, the DJ
Mark's
pad.
DJ pad. While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, a digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet, 9:35 a.m.
Well, Mark, is this true?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has
Stop
already
being so
said
shy
it
and
better.
fucking weird.
Just answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
But I love shy, timid twinks, so I'm kind of obsessed.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of the murder. There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified. Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, we can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened and...
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
Huh?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder because it isn't even conductive.
How is water not conductive?
It's not?
After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area.
Okay, maybe to throw us off the track, the stun gun was somehow supposedly used. We're gonna figure this out later on when Desmond fucking reveals the fucking biggest plot twist in human history. And we'll find out the stun gun was actually used, but they used the destruction of the thing to make it look like that was what killed it. But why would you leave the stun gun there in that case?
So, I tested the water.
True, and that happened
I
then,
even
not now.
redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes. In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room's generator is just one source.
If you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough. Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning
True, it's
strike.
not really concentrated in one spot.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's
true.
exposed wires aren't even touching the water. If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, The generator's wires are nowhere near
Oh no, it was the
water.
fucking extension cord.
It doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students. A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
As for why the generator's been charged,
Maybe
sometimes
the massive
electrical
fucking
faults
bomb.
happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course! If we were responsible for his death, you lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
That's a pleasant thought to think about. Is the generator really unrelated to the case? It's not unrelated, because I'm pretty sure it still caused the blackout, but maybe it isn't actually what killed Wolfgang. Maybe it was the fucking taser. But the timing of the blackout is too perfect. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay, since we've ruled out the generator, what
Maybe the
else could
massive
have
fucking
electrocuted
taser gun
Wolfgang?
found right next to him.
Yeah, it mightn't be relevant, but
You
I
found
did
something
see
relevant?
One other thing on the boiler room floor, a toy gun or something.
Oh fuck!
At least that's how it came across to me.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
Probably not enough to
I'm
fucking
not
cause
sure
that
how the
fucking.
taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Surely, most taser guns are designed to be non-lethal.
Nope. The taser was definitely
Here we go.
used.
Yep, we're gonna
How
find out
so?
this big fucking human.
I didn't catch
fucking
any sort
human.
of string protruding from it.
Sorry, if I spelled my words out correctly. A big fucking plot twist that will fucking unravel human history as we fucking know it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless. For those types, you can tell they've been used if their blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself.
Now, where were the blast doors
And here
found?
I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, there weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Maybe it came from Desmond's room, because he's all fucking to do with marksmanship and shit. So maybe that doesn't implicate him though, because the fucking doors don't lock.
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Yeah, it belongs to Mark.
Just think about
Not
it for
Mark.
1
Fucking
second.
Mark's talking. Fucking belongs to Desmond.
Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment. Jet's got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff?
Yeah, not everyone has a fucking ring light and a fucking tripod.
What? Is there something on my face?
Just fucking pure embarrassment.
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Although, to be fair, if it did come from his room, I don't think he would volunteer that information about it being used.
Huh? No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
It probably did come from your room.
Jean, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside
Well, I
his
probably
dorm.
staying in John's room.
Alas, we stayed in my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine.
You're literally carrying a bow and arrow on your
seen
fucking
anything
back.
like it.
No, that's a lie.
A lie?
His attempt to feign innocence won't fool me, not when I know the truth. Okay, what's the truth? What's the truth? What proves Desmond is lying? His talent, his charisma, his blackmail. Do we know his blackmail? Whose blackmail did Ava have? Did Ava have his blackmail?
I got it.
Yeah, she did. I couldn't fucking remember that.
The blackmail Tozu gave us. That's my evidence.
You didn't get mine, did you?
No. But the person who did.
I'll just rat
informed me of
Ava
what
out
it
when
said.
she didn't rat us out earlier. With his weapons at hand, Desmond guards the one. Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
I remember
That's
that
working
now.
a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Don't judge me. This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep, no idea.
That's a bit
Our
suspicious.
rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying that. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons. If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone.
Some fucking characteristics to him that we don't know
He
about.
pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside. There's no other way to explain it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns, all I get is an old game console and a dead controller.
No, didn't you get the Slam Sisters and shit as well?
Take the bad with the good, dearest pupil. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily?
I'm not saying I do.
If the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the
But
killer.
I don't believe that.
Any argument he makes against it is just a flimsy excuse.
If the gun really did belong to him, though, would he volunteer that information about the blast also? Non-stop debate. Oh, fuck, here we go. What? How fucking badly am I going to fuck this one up? I assume it's going to be a taser gun. The killer!
The taser gun came from his room.
I'm just going to quickly check these again. It's not going to be Toshiko's Pet Quest, so taser gun. Okay, well that's fucking helpful, isn't it? And I already fucking forgot what the other one is.
I had no idea the gun even
blackout.
existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Yeah. At the time of the Wolfgang, these were at the giant tree. Oh no, Eloise was with Desmond. Okay, cool. Eloise, back us
You
up
wanted
here.
to draw attention
Eloise, back us
away
up.
from your weapons hoard.
I'm sorry I had to read that, but I'm not fucking an encyclopedia of knowledge like Ulysses.
If this is about
Eloise,
avoiding
speak up.
suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their
That
own
is
murder
true.
weapon.
Speak up. Yes, you were. No, what? Yes, speak up.
I got it.
I'm getting the hang of this a bit more, okay?
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder. Eloise can back me up on this.
So Eloise and Desmond are completely fucking clear. Like, completely
Right.
clear.
Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
It's an unlikely pairing, though, to be together.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't help her anyway, because if we find out fucking we find Desmond the killer when he's not, Eloise is going to get executed with the rest of us.
Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop. They're obviously working together.
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something.
What do you have to
During
say?
my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
Doesn't sound very
You
convincing.
also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
Yeah, that's not very compelling,
If
Toshiko.
Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him?
Yeah, exactly.
Should the wrong vote be cast, nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
That's right. And even if she was
Okay, that
exempt,
logic's fucking
Eloise
really poor.
is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
We're going to find out that Eloise is going to be the next killer in chapter 2, just because he said that.
Grace, I realize Desmond's irked you, but that's no reason to keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's move on.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end. I guess they needed a GPS.
That wasn't funny.
Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now. Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is word for word what Desmond said.
That is exactly word for word.
Good memory.
All in a day's work,
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Again. But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
All right. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Why do we need to hit this again? What are you up to, Ava?
Is there something on your mind?
If
Clearly.
Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings.
Ah, but the girls were not,
With that sort
apparently.
of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd be bunking in.
Oh, that is true, though.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
Yeah, regardless of
And
gender.
who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Or while people were having breakfast.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in.
Yeah, Ava, that was a
unnoticed.
bit of a fucking massive fucking leap to try to fucking exclude yourself from the fucking
Doesn't
discussion.
exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
Bit suspicious, yeah.
Well, guess this taser gun was a bust.
I'm gonna have to say it's either gonna be Ava or Grace because the fucking something was in their fucking closet that we found.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie.
I want to find out what it actually was, to be honest. I'm gonna say it first. It's probably safe to do this. Oh, alright, so what actually did they find in that fucking closet? Storage closet D. No, I don't think it was that. No, it was the rolling pin. The rolling pin was found in the fucking closet with Ava and fucking fuckface Grace.
If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead?
And that rolling pin was metal, wasn't it?
You know, the ones that weren't burn marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
Oh yeah, that fucking little fucking pinprick thing in the fucking bruise on the back of the neck.
Besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
That was a very quick deflection there, Ava. You're kind of like we're fucking a bit too happy to jump onto the fucking different idea train.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Want to try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
Yeah, so fucking intelligent.
It's only common sense.
Okay, let's discuss the bruise first.
Fuck. Jump right into a fucking non-stop debate. I don't know what the rolling pin has to do with that.
I think it's safe to say.
Knife has nothing to do with it, I reckon.
Didn't use a flamethrower.
Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up. Yeah, we know that. That's how I feel.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight?
Doubt it.
Someone might have attacked him and aimed for his neck.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way.
Hold on, wait.
Something must have hit him.
Yeah, wait, shut the fuck up. His neck. It was only on the back of the neck, wasn't it? Appeared recently. Was the first bruise left by something? I guess it could have been the rolling pin.
Wolfie fell over.
No.
With how spindly he is, one tiny misstep.
He wasn't that much. Oh, he
could
actually
leave
kind
the
of
poor
wasn't a
fella
twink.
bruised for days.
Skinny guys bruise easily, eh? Let's see if you're right. Listen.
Don't attack. Oh,
Fall
fuck.
over.
No, thank you.
I reckon this. Something must have caused that bruise on Wolfgang's neck. What could have been? Okay, so it's probably
it's safe
attacked
to
him
say.
with a steel rolling pin.
The killer didn't use a flamethrower.
That much is obviously fucking clear.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight
Nope.
Someone might have attacked him and aimed for his neck.
Yeah, sounds about
You
right.
can even reach that high.
He's not that tall.
Either way, something.
I got it. I agree with the influencer. We'll do a TikTok dance to celebrate later on.
Kai is right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind.
I'm so fucking proud to say that.
Anyway, from how you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
Maybe the giant fucking rolling pin we found.
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
Why are you being suspicious?
No. There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder. Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
It does.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser!
Yeah, if he was unconscious, that wouldn't matter what time they fucking attacked him, because as long as he was unconscious by the time he was electrocuted.
Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Considering the logical ethos of the killer's rectitude,
Why we
especially
keep
when governed under
mentioning the
constricting
rectum?
pressure, leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
I guess it makes sense.
After shooting Wolfgang with a taser, what was the killer's next move? If I figure that out, I'll be one step closer to solving this case. Fuck, here we go. Another one. I'm getting the hang of them, but still they fucking freak me out. Storage closets, footsteps, rolling pin.
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin.
Yep.
And then chucked the pin into closet A?
Yep.
When exactly did they discard the pin?
It's gotta be this
They
one, I
couldn't
reckon.
have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the 2 of us went inside closet A.
That's
Why
true.
were you inside the closet?
Look for the generator.
The backup generator,
Yeah.
remember? Jed and I checked closet B.
Yeah.
Damon and Kai checked closet C.
Yeah.
Eva and Grace checked closet A.
Yeah.
And Jean and Mark checked closet D.
Yeah.
The killer just.
I think that's right. I
discarded
think
the
that's
pin.
right. Let's just quickly fucking double check that shit, because I'm just taking your word for it. Ava Grace A, check Cassidy B. Yep. Okay, yep. Everything she said fucking matched up.
Before we came downstairs.
No, I doubted it. No,
Yeah. I think Mark's right.
no, the footsteps.
Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their
No,
room
don't be fucking stupid.
immediately after discarding the pin.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, Mark is fucked.
The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin. And then chucked the pin into closet A?
Sorry, Marky boy. That makes you look like a fucking idiot in front of your peers. Oh, to be fair, you did that yourself when you opened your mouth. Oh god, can we speed this up, please? Yeah. That's all correct.
The killer just discarded the pin.
Wrong.
Before.
Wrong. Oh,
Upstairs.
no. Oh, no,
Leave
maybe.
me out of this.
Okay, maybe. Fuck.
So let me get this
Fuck
straight.
that up.
The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin. And then chucked the pin into closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the 2 of us went inside closet A.
Oh,
Why
now
were you
I'm not
inside
sure.
the closet? To find
I
the
didn't say-
backup
fuck.
generator, remember? Jed and I checked closet B. Damon and Kai checked closet C. Eva and Grace checked closet A.
Yeah.
John and Mark.
Yeah.
The killer just discarded the pin. Before we came downstairs.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately after discarding the pin.
Just because the killer placed the pin earlier doesn't mean they left before we arrived. Okay.
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked
So
out
the
Wolfgang
footsteps
with a
have
rolling
to have
pin.
something to do with this, surely.
And then chucked the pin into closet A?
Wait, what did we just say?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
Has to be the footsteps, surely.
Already downstairs. Because the 2 of us went inside closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember? Jed and I checked closet B.
Yeah.
Damon and Kai checked closet.
It's not this, is it? No. Oh, fuck that up.
Brain dead? Eva and I.
Why do I think I was onto something? Oh, yeah, we fucked that up. That was stupid of me. I'm so sorry. No, we're going to continue. I still can turn this debate around. Oh, okay. So we
let
weren't
me get this
penalised in the
straight.
slightest. Lovely.
The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin, and then chucked the pin into closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I...
Oh, shit, no.
Because the
thank
two
God.
of us went inside closet A.
Why were you
This
inside
is
the
hard.
closet?
I'm not sure what the logic's asking me to do here.
Generator, remember? Jet and I checked closet B.
You did though, surely. Surely you did.
Damon and Kai checked closet C.
I know I need to keep checking this. Ava and Grace, closet A. Jet and Cassidy, closet B. Yeah, Jean and Mark, D.
Eva and Grace checked closet A.
Jean and Mark, sorry.
And Jean and Mark checked
Yeah,
closet
that
B.
is all correct. None of that's wrong.
The killer just discarded the pin. Before we came downstairs.
No.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. 'Cause the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room.
Possibly this.
Immediately.
Possibly. Yes, okay. Because it didn't happen immediately. Gotcha.
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground
Okay,
hallway at
I
a
get
later
that now.
time.
I'm just fucking
When
dumb.
the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator, Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
I think it was just because it went by so fucking quickly, that fucking weak point.
Huh? Oh man, that's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway. That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jet and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
That's possibly a
You
lie.
did?
Yeah, Grace didn't hear him.
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
I'm actually gonna be so mad if Ava turns out to
Ashamed
be
to say,
fucking.
I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things. However, since other people
true.
can attest to hearing them,
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running. Since everyone explored the closets in pairs, they all have solid alibis.
Suppose that is
I'm
true.
sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang.
Do we know that for sure, though?
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they
So
belong
it's
to
not
the
Desmond
killer.
or Eloise, and they're saying it's not these guys, so it could possibly be Winona, Ingrid, or Toshiko. Okay, so 8 of the attendees clears 8 out of 15 students. That leaves, if I can do the math, 15, 7. Toshiko and Ingrid were together, so that takes another. So that brings up our count to 10. So it could only be Winona, Ulysses, and one of the other cunts.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Hold on. So the killer had been right next to us?
Boy, that's a given.
Huh? Howard, the only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Well, they didn't, so I don't see what the problem
Exactly.
is.
Or Mark, I guess. Oh no, Mark was in attendance, sorry,
Jeez,
obviously.
You're weird.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
It's not impossible, I guess.
We're not the fucking brightest bunch, are
If
we?
not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
Sounds pretty meat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
For the two who heard the footsteps, describe the sound.
Ah. No, surely it was 3. It was me, Jean, and fucking Fuckface.
It was kinda socky. As in...
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
Cause their footsteps were soft?
That seems like a leap in logic.
Why are you getting angry about that?
No, I get what she's saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind. If the killer had worn theirs, We might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor. Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
What are you saying?
Oi, are you pulling out leg?
I'm completely serious.
Oh.
Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right.
Okay, dorms with the left, courtyard in the middle. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder.
Okay.
Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Okay, so can I see the true bullets? I can. So Kai, me, Jet, Cassidy, Jean, Grace. What's her name? Ava. And someone else is missing off this. Because there's 8 people. Who else was there? It was me, Kai, Jean, and Grace. Mark was there too. So those 8 people were not there. So we're in that building. And then Eloise and Desmond were in the courtyard. Oh, yep. So here we go. Winona and Ulysses were by the giant tree. Winona doesn't recall the blackout happening. Same goes for Eloise, who spent her morning in the courtyard with Desmond. Wait, Winona and Ulysses were by the giant tree, but did Ulysses mention anything about the blackout at any point? I don't know if Ulysses mentioned the courtyard, the fucking blackout at any point. Okay. Potentially.
Is the killer someone whose position we can't place?
No, it's not about position.
Eh?
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder. The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
In which case, that killer, yes, that's right. The only one here who can possibly be the killer is you. I am completely fucking lost. Because Winona and Ulysses were apparently together. You were at the fucking thing. You were at the thing. You were at the thing. You were with Ingrid. You weren't mentioned at all. I knew it was this bitch. It has to be this fucking bitch.
It has to be
you. It has to be this bitch. I said this earlier when she was fucking crying and got out of the fucking laundry room.
It's you, isn't it?
Her? The makeup girl?
She's the only one here without an alibi. Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She
was with Ulysses. She was with Ulysses.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those two were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Guys, if she's the person who fled the
I knew it was this
room,
fucking
those
bitch.
footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa! I didn't even think of it like that. You're totally right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about?
I don't think I've seen anyone's feet at this point.
A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
Yep, I think you're a fucking psycho underneath it all.
The fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
This is exciting!
But I do have an alibi.
What is
right?
it?
Ava?
Huh?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave.
Yeah, but she was at the fucking tournament at like 8:30ish.
What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Ava wanted to help me and Cass set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi then.
Diana, don't tell me.
Yeah, she's a murdering bitch.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
Are we sure there hasn't been some sort of misunderstanding?
It's not possible.
You don't know this.
Diana can't be the killer. No! I refuse to believe it!
Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. I'll make them face the facts. Whether they like it or not, soon enough, nobody will be able to deny Diana killed Wolfgang. Okay, non-stop debate. Let's fucking corner this bitch.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail?
It's gonna be an Azor bullet.
That might be her blood on the knife, too.
Oh, could be.
Diana's blood?
Could be.
Are you saying she wounded herself?
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know.
How would she get hurt?
Blood be on their own weapon.
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
That's true.
Well,
Wolfgang had the knife. Wolfgang had the knife.
The rolling pin in one hand.
No, that's cool. No.
And the knife
Fuck.
in the other.
It's that one. No, it's that one. Okay. No, because it was the rolling pin was held with fucking both hands. Yeah, we know this. Fuck off. Let's get to that point. Yeah. Toshiko, don't be so stupid. We discussed this. And this is also the same. Sorry, but like this is also the same thing that happened in the first case, where
Are you saying she
the bitch
wounded herself?
she had a fucking gun and the other dude just had a knife.
Why else would the killer?
Yeah. No, she can't hold it two hands.
Maybe they
With
had
one
both.
hand. No.
The rolling pin in one.
No. Yeah, get fucked.
No, that's wrong.
I just know we're gonna get an absorb bullet fucking section soon, and I fucking hate them.
No. The killer was only wielding the rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang.
That's
You
correct.
can tell just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge, as if the killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket. Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Especially if the other one was a girl.
Who held the knife?
Wolfgang.
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely
Obviously
the only
Wolfgang.
other person in the boiler room. Wolfgang Akire.
Akire.
What the hell are you talking about? Wolfgang, carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is.
Yeah, all that fucking shitty
You know
talk.
better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find either.
We know it was from the
Probably
kitchen.
just stole one from the kitchen.
It actually did come from the kitchen.
Besides, if Diana is the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process. For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
No! That's wrong!
Yeah, where is this injury?
I wasn't stabbed. If I was stabbed, then
Yeah.
I'd have an injury. But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
That we can see anyway.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut. Of course. That also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
That's why she was in the laundry room, actually. Fucking either washing a uniform or trying to dispose of
You
it.
may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they
Actually,
aren't there.
no, it could be. It doesn't even have to be hidden by clothes. If it's on her arm, she'd cover it with foundation. That was like a major plot point in fucking Trigger Happy Havoc.
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view.
If this is a Hangman's game, it's to fucking spell out
After
foundation.
all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
Yeah, she's a fucking makeup artist with foundation. We have a fucking talent.
I got it. Talent. As the ultimate cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
It makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
You're correct.
No.
Oh, she's gonna have a fucking massive panic attack though, isn't she?
Wait. Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh, crap. You guys know what this
Fucking
means.
conniving bitch.
Right, guys? Diana just...
Confessed.
Diana basically just confessed!
A confession? Are you for real?
It makes sense, though, doesn't it? Diana got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang.
Well, they're not directly correlated, but it fucking
Which means
adds up pretty quickly.
all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room, all that stuff really did happen.
I see. I see now what you were saying. Diana, she lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, fucking come forward if you're the killer." Fuck off.
Never suspect her.
Oh yeah, come forward if you're the killer, so we don't have to go through this trial.
Diana, it wasn't me.
It obviously was.
I promise, it wasn't me.
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
And then try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person...
Like, all this fucking talking's making me feel like it's not her.
That's so...
It has to be her, surely.
Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
It still could be Grace or fucking Ava.
Can we at least hear Diana's side of the story?
Her side?
Well, you know, Diana has... I just think it's fair we listen.
What does it matter what she says? Look at the evidence. This case...
It's not closed yet.
It's closed. We know
The
who the
case
killer
isn't closed
is.
until we fucking vote.
If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story,
No.
then do it.
We want to know beforehand. We want to know now.
No.
We want to be fully informed when this vote happens. Vote. That's right, we have to vote for the killer. Diana, I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the killer. I've proven it beyond a no, not because there's still the fucking... How did she fucking blow up the fucking dog shit generator?
No.
Why is it that when I hear her cry, I get a strange nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe the things she's saying? Why, all of a sudden, do I doubt myself? Oh, fuck. Are we wrong? Suspicious note.
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
She always means that, oh, it's an absorb bullet, isn't it?
Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
Oh, fuck. There's multiple of them.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I
wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting for then? Let's get this over with and vote.
Is Diana telling the truth? How is it possible we not already know the truth? It can't be possible, not unless...
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room.
Let's just quickly
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Secret, 8:15 AM, and close the door. Oh yeah, and the doors were changed too. Killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana?
Oh, I've got E's to absorb.
Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
Oh, this is so fucking difficult.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, Then you obviously did.
Shit.
But I wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
I'm so fucking lost.
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting for then? Let's get this over with and vote!
Is Diana telling the truth? How is it possible we not already know the truth? It can't be possible, not unless...
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room.
Lying in wait.
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana?
Fuck that up.
Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
I'm so fucking lost. So completely fucking
I
lost.
would never murder Wolfgang.
I'm so fucking completely
If
lost.
you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
Maybe these absorb bullets are a fucking red herring. Because I'm pretty sure this suspicious note has to have something to do with it. A note discovered inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. The few words: secret, 8:15 AM. Close the door. And he didn't die immediately, because he didn't die at 8:15 AM. He died. Okay, no, I reckon it has something to do with this fucking Grace bitch. Fucking stupid prick.
Diana was the one who came to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him.
Nope. Yeah, fuck you, Grace. Fuck you in the eye.
Hold on. Grace, you're overlooking
Yeah, he didn't die at
crucial
8:15
detail.
AM.
Do you recall the note I found in Wolfgang's blazer pocket? It asked him to meet in the boiler room at 8:15 AM. But, according to the
Like
Tozy
an hour and
tablet,
20 minutes later.
he died over an hour later at 9. That means Wolfgang didn't die right after he got to the boiler room.
I guess this whole episode's going to be the whole fucking class trial, I reckon.
What's your point?
My point is that the killer had no reason to lure Wolfgang to the boiler room and then wait over an hour to kill him. There's no guarantee another person won't enter the room during that time. It's in the killer's best interest to be in and out of there as fast as possible. When we originally discussed the note, we lacked the context.
Grace is
to
pushing
properly
for this vote
understand
pretty
this
hard. I reckon
discrepancy.
it's her still.
But if we go with your idea that Diana killed Wolfgang immediately, then that discrepancy becomes all too clear.
And she was being all weird about fucking getting access to the room too. It's got to be Grace, surely.
How do you know Wolfgang didn't just arrive late?
He was already on his way when I ran into him at 8:10 AM. He must have arrived on time.
Same goes for the killer. I doubt Wolfgang would stay in the boiler room for long if no one came to meet him. For that reason, we can assume Wolfgang was knocked unconscious soon after he arrived. But there's such a long period of time between him being knocked out and him being killed. Unless you want to tell me he and Diana were in an hour-long struggle, then I'm sure there's more to the mystery here.
Oh, and the finger too. She just gave me the fucking bird. Birdie, I guess, since she's a golfer.
With you? Don't you see this is a trick?
No, you're a bit fucking worked up over
All of
this.
Diana's blubbering and crying is just a farce to make us think she's innocent.
I wouldn't fall for a farce like that.
Pretty sure we could.
My
We're not
only
fucking
concern is
foolproof.
the evidence not adding up.
If you're still not convinced Diana is the killer, then let me show you something you overlooked.
Fuck, what are you here?
Undeniable fucking proof!
Whoa. I hope it's not Grace though. She's a fucking interesting character. But they all are actually. I reckon it has something to do with the doorknob.
Damn what Diana says! Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her?
Grace seems to think she knows more about the crime scene than I do, but if that's true, she would already realize the flaw in the whole argument.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her?
Maybe this is an advance. Maybe the contradiction's here.
Damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi,
That is true.
blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same
No, it
room where
doesn't.
Wolfgang died.
Does it?
How can the killer be anyone but her? I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person.
Right, okay.
I don't give a damn what
So why didn't that work before? I tried to use it before on the other one.
Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her?
Okay, maybe I do have to advance.
What Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her? I don't give a damn.
Oh my god.
Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died.
Why don't let me shoot here?
How can the killer be anyone but her? I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi.
It's letting me shoot there though, but not the other one.
I don't give a damn what Diana
Alright, let's just
says.
try it and see what this fucking...
Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang
Yeah, it won't let me shoot here. It won't let me shoot.
How can the killer be anyone but her?
And I can't fucking save either, so this is fucked. It won't let me save.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places
I think
her
this is a little bit
inside the
broken.
exact same room where Wolfgang died.
Oh, this is so broken.
How can the killer be anyone but her? I don't give a damn what Diana says.
Might actually let my health fucking drain.
Not only is she the one person without an alibi, I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room
Why
where
won't let me
Wolfgang
shoot there?
died. How can the killer be anyone but her? I don't give a damn what Diana says.
Alright, what I'm actually gonna do...
Is she the one person without an alibi?
Hopefully...
The blood from her wounds...
Okay, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to start again. I'm gonna reload my save and see if it fucking figures it out. I hope, like, hopefully it hasn't fucking just broken, but I'm a bit pissed off that it won't fucking let me attack it. Because this is a lot of fucking time and effort I'm gonna have to fucking waste.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her?
Success. Do I advance? Oh, okay, maybe that's what I have to do.
If Diana lured Wolfgang downstairs, why would she
That was a bit bullshit though. It wouldn't even let me, like, attempt to attack the other statement, the weak point.
Not when there's a risk of someone else entering the boiler room.
What risk?
I'm gonna save directly after this though, because that kind of pissed me
Diana
off.
wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in because she could just lock the
Nope, she can't.
door.
Okay.
Screw those words.
I was attempting to do the wrong thing before, which is fine, because I was going to be wrong. That's perfectly fine. But it wouldn't even let me attempt to do it,
can't be
which kind of
relied
pissed me
upon.
off. We're going to fucking save though, because that fucking freaked me out so much. I was told I was going to have to fucking redo the whole fucking class trial again. I'm going to save up over these. Sorry, don't care. If I lose my footage, I'm going to have to redo the whole trial anyway, so... Because fucking, we've been going for about an hour and a half now, and the trial was nowhere near the fucking end.
If Diana locked it, she would be trapping herself
I wish I was an
inside the boiler
intermission.
room.
What?
The doorknob has been flipped so that the keyhole
Don't get me wrong, I'm
faces
really fucking
inside,
enjoying this, but I wish I was an
while the
intermission so I
lock
could fucking
faces
pause.
outside. Had you investigated the crime scene more closely, you might have realized this detail sooner. In any case, locking the door would lock everyone inside the room, not outside. If Diana was the killer, she'd be better off leaving the door open.
How the heck do you even flip a doorknob? Sounds like something only a
Do we have a
tradesperson
We
could
kind of
do.
do have a tradesperson.
You really think so? Swapping a doorknob is easy. Well, last time I did anything like it was a while
was a bit
ago,
suspicious.
but everyone here knows knobs are screwable, right? If you get a screwdriver and know what you're doing, you can rotate a doorknob quick smart.
I reckon a cosmetologist will know much about that.
Swap a doorknob? Then I guess anyone can.
Right on. Wait, are you saying that like it's a bad thing, or?
Is that why Diana remained in the boiler room after Wolfgang died? She had been locked inside?
What do you make of the footsteps then? If they were Diana's, it would imply she escaped the boiler room. How do you suppose she did that?
Diana's way of escaping the boiler room, huh? From the evidence in the boiler room, I'm fairly confident I can do some method. Can't say that. Nope. We're just gonna go straight fucking this. Oh, she fucking lockpick. It's a lockpick.
Near the boiler room door.
You didn't discover it. I thought Ulysses did.
At first glance, it didn't look important. But if you were to fold it in half, theoretically, it would look like a hairpin.
Ah, she used the classic maneuver, picking a lock with a hairpin. It can be done. It just takes a bit of practice.
Diana probably had this hairpin inside her makeup bag. So, she used it to fiddle with the lock.
Took about an
until
hour
it
and a half.
eventually came undone, which, judging by the timing of her footsteps, happened late into the blackout.
Messing with a lock in pitch blackness. Whew.
That's a bit suspicious.
Now that would be impossible for me.
Right. Even if Diana did access light, like through the Tozu trinket, undoing the lock would still be difficult. Way too difficult of a situation to deliberately put herself in.
In which case, that can only mean one thing. Diana's not the killer, maybe? Why could Diana not leave the boiler room? Someone else locked the door, someone else blocked the door. Was the door never locked? Nope. Nope. Fuck, I'm retarded. Someone else locked the door.
Got it.
Ah, I wonder how that happened. Or maybe it was Wolfgang.
Someone else must have locked the door.
What?
If we go with our current train of thought, the doorknob was rearranged so you could only lock it
This
from
is a
the
fucking
outside.
plot twist.
It doesn't make sense for Diana to rearrange the lock, enter the room, and deliberately trap herself inside, which means someone else must have locked the door. I know this doesn't necessarily clear
maybe
Diana's
Grace.
suspicion, but it's strange enough to warrant further investigation.
Aye. I'd rather resolve this thread before we move on to voting.
Agreed. We could easily miss something important if we turn our noses away.
So, why did this mystery person close the door in the first place?
What if they saw the scuffle between Wolfie and Diana
Stop calling him Wolfie.
and closed
He's
the
not my
door to
friend.
protect
He was a
themselves?
fucking douchebag.
Instead of seeking
I love him,
help,
but he was a douchebag.
or trying to stop the scuffle?
You say that like closing the door isn't exactly what you would do.
What kind of asshole do you take
Fucking
me
massive
for?
one.
Any chance they locked it to prevent Diana from escaping?
That's
And
true.
somehow unscrewed the doorknob without drawing attention to themselves?
Yeah, this was a deliberate act that would have had to happen beforehand.
Didn't you hear him? He's talking about the door being locked, not the doorknob being
But it had to
unscrewed.
be unscrewed at some
Unless
point.
two entirely different people just so happen to interfere with the boiler room at two entirely separate intervals. The one who locked the door is most likely
Yeah, it
the
would
one
have
who
to be,
flipped
surely.
it, yeah?
Yes.
Then you should be wondering the same thing. How did they unscrew the doorknob without catching anyone's attention?
Yeah, doesn't sound possible.
Not in the moment, it isn't. But what if the doorknob had
It
been
wasn't at the
swapped
very
beforehand?
beginning.
Say this person knew Wolfgang and
Yeah,
Diana
but
were
like
coming to
prior
the
to these
boiler
events.
room. They could have swapped the knob in advance, waited for Diana and Wolfgang to enter,
Maybe what's wrong about Diana?
and then
Maybe
closed
she didn't
and
kill
locked
him.
the door.
So the flipping of the doorknob was premeditated?
Seems like
With
it.
what we currently know, I'd wager it's our safest assumption, at least until we hear Diana's side of the story.
Speak up.
Diana, since you were the last person with Wolfgang,
I'm so glad that
your
all of this is
testimony could
fucking
be our
voice
most
acted.
valuable piece of evidence yet. You need to tell me what happened. If not for me, or for you, then at the very least, do it for Wolfgang's sake.
Yeah, the one you fucking killed. I mean, the one who died.
I'm sorry.
For what?
I'm really
This
Really?
class trial is nowhere near fucking over, is it? Oh, she's fucking having a
I
panic
wanted to
attack.
help. I wanted to make everything okay.
That fucking face,
But
Jesus.
all I could do was be useless. All I could do was watch him die.
You didn't kill him? Oh, you're a witness to some of the events.
It's all my fault. All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
Still means, what is it?
So is this a
No, it's not. She fucking saw something, but she didn't kill him.
I didn't kill Wolfgang.
So that was what all that fucking, oh, please come forward.
But I still failed him as a friend.
You should have mentioned this from the get-go.
I failed him then. And I failed
You get it, you're a
him
massive fucking
here.
failure. Just tell
But
us.
if I told the truth,
I wouldn't.
things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
Come on, Taylor, just fucking tell us. Tell us. Do I want to watch Wolfgang die? It's okay.
It's okay, sweetheart.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Come on now, take deep breaths.
Yeah, we'll believe you no matter what you say.
That's so believable. It's looking like Diana might actually be innocent. It's looking like that, but the nagging feeling in my chest still hasn't gone away. Damn it, what am I doing? Because of one girl, I've been doubting myself and jumping from one argument to another. If I can't piece together my own thoughts, how can I possibly piece together this case? I need to get a grip on myself. I need to keep sight of myself and the goal of this killer. Whatever is thrown at me next, I need to persevere. Because if I don't, if everyone here votes wrong, I won't leave this place alive. Intermission? 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 Please be an intermission. Give me an intermission. Intermission? Intermission? Break.
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy?
Kind of has,
Perhaps
actually.
you need a short break.
Yes, please.
Something to lighten the mood and let you collect
Oh,
yourself.
not a fucking Tozu fucking...
Something like a nice cup of
Tozu
tea.
theater.
Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of
Not
Tozu's
Tozu
Tea
theater.
Time.
Okay.
If you haven't already, please sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip.
I'm immediately invested in
Now,
this.
a question from me to you.
Okay.
What are sheep good at, if anything?
No following shepherd.
Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding absolutely nothing.
That sounds
Sheep
about right.
cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music. Their limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tags. I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus, what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same. That they can be so determined to
Weird.
prove their worth. When
I want
humans
like
have
gossip
all
and
but
tea,
deemed
not
them
this fucking shit.
microwavable meals. Isn't that something admirable? What a shame our sheep had to be so
These sheep in this
misguided.
class trial are absolutely fucking idiots.
It seems that's about all the time we have. Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need
fucking
for
choice.
extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson. Who's Jack Robinson?
Yeah, I was about to ask who the
I
fuck
have
is
no
Jack
idea.
Robinson.
Ta-ta!
I didn't want to fucking say it because I'd seem like an idiot who didn't know who Jack Robinson is. Okay.
Now's your chance to defend yourself.
I'm going to treat that as an intermission. I will be back next time with the second installment of this fucking thrilling cast trial. If it's not Diana, I know who the fuck it is. I reckon I still have my suspicions about Grace and Ava, hoping it's actually neither of them because I like both of them as characters, but I have a seeking suspicion it's Grace because she was acting so fucking suspicious during this class trial. But we'll figure out next time because this has been going on for nearly an hour and 45 minutes. So peace out.